My name is Lloyd Williams. I'm honored to serve as the President and CEO of the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce. This year celebrating its 115th anniversary of continued service in New York, with over 1,200 members ranging from Fortune 200 to individual professionals and mom and pops. I'm also honored to serve as Vice Chairperson of Harlem Arts Alliance with over 800 members representing individual artists as well as museums and theaters, etc. I understand that the chairman of Harlem Arts Alliance, Vosa Rivers, is in the audience, and I wanted to recognize and shout out to Vosa. The Chamber was founded 115 years ago. So therefore, when it was founded as the Harlem Board of Trade, it's now the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, we recognize, you can imagine, the changes which our chamber has faced in over 100 years. After about 40 years of or more of neglect in our community for various reasons that we do not have time now to explore, Harlem is now hot. That means there is a connecting linkage that we need to bring together. The theme of our chamber is different from most. Our theme is not the business of business is business, but the business of business is people. And we're very much focused on that theme. This year, our chamber has, through the encouragement of Julie Menon and Vin Cipolla, agreed to join with the Municipal Arts Society to seek to bring the various and diverse aspects of our city together, including, of course, Harlem, which, as you know, is renowned as the urban capital of the United States. We have started in no small part by bringing together a partnership with Municipal Arts Society, Harlem Arts Alliance, the Greater Harlem Chamber of Commerce, and the City College of New York. Next year, we will have, during this conference, a panel focused on inner city specifically and urban issues so we can start talking better to each other because that's our mission. Let's get moving. We had some great conversations already this morning with a special shout out to Kinshasa, wherever she is, for keeping it real and, and keeping Harlem on the agenda. Thanks. Good to see you. When we look for ways to strengthen neighborhoods in our cities, we often look to place-making and to the creation of community hubs. It can be argued that some of the most viable opportunities for community development through placemaking exist within New York City's educational infrastructure and universities. So how can the city best nurture these hubs for different people groups and uses? And how can we use large colleges, universities, and the other parts of the educational infrastructure which keeps growing to find a balance that is needed to bring about equality of life in the neighborhoods and leading to mutual benefit? At this time, there's perhaps no one better to address this subject than Dr. Lisa Staiana-Quaco. And we should turn to her because she has answers, as do you. We need to put our answers together. Dr. Quaco, who is a most valued friend and advisor, is the 12th president of the City College of New York and the first CUNY alumni to serve in this role. City College is one of the few self-contained university campuses in New York and a vibrant and ever-growing part of the Harlem community with its arts and cultural programs and schools that it's now undertaking, its School of Engineering, the School of Architecture, and on and on and on. Dr. Quaco her work here and her former roles as provost at Temple University and dean at Cornell University has brought together diverse student bodies and curricula across multiple programs and campuses with innovative placemaking. And we are fortunate to benefit from her experience today. Harlem and New York City is much, much better off now that President Lisa, as she prefers to be called, is now at the helm of the City College of New York. I am proud to introduce you a most valued friend and advisor, Dr. Lisa Steiner-Quaker. Thank you, baby.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I don't do well behind podiums, so I like to walk and wander. It's truly a privilege. Lloyd, thank you. You are an amazing friend to City College and to me personally, and an advisor to me. I was listening this morning to the previous panels. Nick, you rock. That is amazing what you've done with your space. You talked about portals, creating portals. The previous panel, and I don't know if you're still in the audience, talked about alabaster towers as New York City becomes wealthier, and what that means in terms of barriers, gates, portals, barriers. And we also talked about getting knowledge out, information out, not being so concerned with possessing our own knowledge that we're unable to share to benefit all. What better place than universities and colleges? And there was a picture up there before of City College, the original picture, but what better place than a university or a college to become a hub for community activities, community engagement, and community partnerships? It has not always been the history. From the times in ancient Greece when Plato established his academy outside of the city, distinct, different, almost sacred, you've seen a separation. There's an expression that has been used for very many years called the ivory towers, and they would say to universities, come down from your ivory towers. Those ivory towers, at best, if you were being benign, you'd say, well, I'm a scientist, so I can say this. Well, they were a bunch of nerds, and they work on these esoteric problems that don't have any connection to the real world, but it's wonderful. And they're very self-involved, but they're disconnected. At worst, the ivory tower represents elitism. It represents deliberate disconnection. It represents purposefully not engaging with the community or with any community other than themselves. Well, I say that that tower has to be breached. It has to be breached. It has to be torn down in both directions. I was thinking last night about what I was going to say, and I thought of two stories which were really interesting symbols to me of the inability to get knowledge out and sometimes the inability to view of getting knowledge in from the community. I was a student at Brooklyn College. I am a CUNY grad, very proud of being a CUNY grad. I am very proud. And wherever I go, Brooklyn's always in the house. And I caught my passion for science at Brooklyn College. So I participated in undergraduate research. My experiments, which would bore you probably, but didn't bore me, went through the night till about 5:30 in the morning. So I would go to class all day, then I'd go in the lab, I'd set my experiments up, and I'd take my guitar with me. And in those days, it was legal to drink at 18, so I'd take a glass of wine and some cheese, and I'd make myself a party in the lab while I was waiting for my experiments to complete. 4:30, I find my experiment finally works after months of trying to get it to work. I am so eager to get home to my parents. And I run out of the lab, and I run to the edge of Brooklyn College. Every gate is locked. I can't get out of the college. I had to climb an 8-foot, 10-foot gate, felt much taller than that. I'm only 5 feet tall, with my guitar strapped to my back, trying to get out so that I could get home to talk about the exciting discovery I had made. Many, many years ago, that was 1976. Just yesterday, or the day before, I was at a luncheon, our 1847 Club luncheon, which is our luncheon for those more senior among our donors who have given charitable annuities and have done so many wonderful things. And I was talking and sitting next to Ed, one of our wonderful donors, and he talked to me about City College, the city on the hill. And there was a very famous book written about the city on the hill. And an African-American man. And he said to me, you know, I lived on Edgecombe Avenue most of my life. I played in St. Nicholas Park. And we looked at the city on the hill. He said, none of us thought of going to college there. He said, we looked at ways that we could breach the castle. How could you get in through the gates? How could you climb those stories to breach the castle? And we had lots of fun playing. But we didn't really think about that as our educational opportunity. Now, Ed was lucky. He was able to come to City College. It was the only opportunity he had to get an education, and he's been wonderful. But what you think about the symbolism of the students and the faculty not able to get out of the gates, and the community members not seeing the gates as portals, but seeing the barriers and the towers. That is one of my top 3 priorities as the president of City College. When I came in, I set 3 top priorities. Our first was student success, and we have a diverse student body. We speak more than 90 languages on our campus, come from more than 150 countries. So when you come to our campus, you can hear virtually every language, you can see every culture. It's an amazing, our undergraduate student body is amazing. So we need to support their success. And they haven't had the opportunities that a lot of others have had. The other was supporting the faculty. The faculty and their scholarship are the great heart of any university. But the third was community partnership. And community partnership does not mean me or our colleagues at the college just going into the communities willy-nilly and saying, we think you need this. We think you should have that. No. It's learning as much from our community as we learn from them and they learn from us. It's forging bonds, it's forging friendships, it's forging collaborations so that we are seen as a co-equal partner, as not sitting in the community or the city on the hill, but being of the community. And that's a critical distinction. So when I came, there were 3 things I'll give you a highlight about what I'm doing to try to create that community. And I must say it would never have been possible without Lloyd Williams, without Vosa Rivers, the Harlem Arts Alliance. I know you're in the back, Vosa. Vosa, thank you. And without so many people, imagine coming to a community like Harlem, rich in culture, one of the richest, not rich economically, but one of the culturally most diverse, rich communities with this incredible history and energy and vibrancy. Imagine being the leader of a college. It's humbling to be the leader of this college at this time in Harlem. So there were 3 things that I talk about that we've done so far. The first is education. Education is the key. It is absolutely the key out of poverty. It's the key to success in life. It's the key to allowing our students to transform their realities into their dreams, whatever those dreams may be. So as part of developing community, my first year there, I've been there about a year and a month or 2 now, I developed and established the Presidential Community Scholars Program. We noticed that we did not have many of our own students in the greater Harlem community coming to City College. despite the incredible opportunities there and the wonderful education. So we started, the first year we started small. We gave out 5 full tuition scholarships, renewable up to 5 years, because I want students to be able to explore beyond just their majors. And they had to come from students that were recommended by their counselors and teachers from the local high schools. These students have been wonderful. This year we increased that to an additional 10. Next year we'll increase additional 30. And what we wanted to do was to get students excited about City, our neighborhood schools excited about City. And also part of the students' obligation is that they need to give back to the community as part of their service opportunities during their scholarship. Another way in which we've been building educational opportunities is our education, School of Education, has worked with the community to establish a small middle school / high school, School of the Arts, to help work and help develop creative talent among the students in the community. We host Poised for Success, which provides skills training for teenage single mothers. We host GED training. We do SAT prep training. We now are hosting new certificates in nursing assistance, building management programs to help provide skills opportunities for our community neighbors. So those are the types of educational collaborations that we've begun. One of the biggest components is also our Colin Powell Center. As you know, General Colin Powell was an alumnus of CCNY. The center named in his honor also reaches out to the community, but not just as community volunteers. It's a public service learning program. And what that service learning program does is it has our students and our teachers and professors develop projects with community-based organizations. They then come and take what they learn, and our curriculum as a college gets modified and changed in response to what was learned in partnership with community-based organizations. We have over 1,000 students doing that, and it's my dream that every one of our 16,000 students will at some point have that opportunity. So education is one area. Another area that I am absolutely committed to is the arts. I believe that there's no better opportunity to bring communities together and in harmony than through the arts. The arts can be deliberately provocative. They can make people get very uncomfortable within their skin, whatever media of art you choose. And utilizing that ability, it's an ability in a neutral setting to allow people's angst to come across, to allow people's joys, to allow their world and cultural perspectives to be shown in a way that you can talk about it, you can discuss it, you can argue about it. But in the long run, you heal. It heals because it brings new perspective. It changes your worldview. It changes my worldview. When I came to City College, we had virtually no arts on the campus because through the various budget cuts, a lot of our arts programs had been retrenched. And many of our alums would talk to us about Lewiston Stadium, and I don't know if any of you ever knew about Lewiston Stadium, but it was apparently a wonderful amphitheater in northern Manhattan on the City College campus. And we have the Aaron Davis Theater. But we hadn't done any performances or cultural performances. We hadn't brought the arts. We hadn't brought community artists. So I've made a big push for the arts. We have revitalized our Aaron Davis Theater, and I want you to go online and you'll find for the first time in decades that we have a full season of cultural events at the Aaron Davis Theater. Thank you. And you can't imagine how our students are starving for the arts, how our community members are starving for the arts to utilize the theater for their productions as well as to come to ours. We have Alvinelli 2 coming, I guess, in a few weeks, right? And within 3 hours, 500 tickets were sold. But I made sure that I said any professor that wants to take his or her class, tickets are free for everybody. So we have free tickets for our classes who come. The tickets are also based for our students priced around $10. I think $25 is like the maximum, trying to keep it within a reasonable cost. But if you come with your professor, it's free. We started the new Harlem Arts Theater this summer, which did its first 2 productions. It's run and directed by one of our theater professors, Jean Nesmith, and it's both a professional and student company. We have brought lectures to City College. We are bringing cultural, public, physical art to City College. We've just ordered from Fletcher Benton 8-foot-high CCNY letters, very modern, wonderful sculpture letters that will eventually go on our South Campus as a new sculpture garden. We've also built a community gallery space facing Amsterdam Avenue in which community artists can display their works of art. And in November, if you come in the evening time, it has to be after dark, we will begin projecting art on the back of the NAC, which is our North Academic Building. And any of you who've been on Amsterdam and see that gray wall, talk about a barrier. We will be projecting art on the back of the NAC. Again, to allow the community in, to allow the community see, and to also allow us to benefit and truly be enriched by all of the community talents and artists in and around us. We have a great hall. Has anybody ever been in the Great Hall at the City College of New York? It's a beautiful venue. You know, it was inaugurated by Mark Twain. Albert Einstein came and gave his theory of relativity to City College, and the hall is incredible. We always had banners. I used to call them the Laura Ashley banners, because when I first came, it looked, no offense, I love Laura Ashley, but they looked like somebody had put just sheets up in this beautiful hall in these banners. If you come there today, what you will find is those banners have been replaced by quilters, quilts done by a circle of internationally and local community renowned quilters that express the vitality of modern Harlem, the City College, and the state of New York. So these are just little tidbits of what I think can be done to break the barriers and to create portals. The gates, we have spectacular gates. The gates should not be gates to keep out people or to keep in knowledge and people. They should be permeable portals through which we can exchange knowledge, innovation, technology, and enrich our lives as a whole and as a community. So thank you for listening to my ideas today, and I'd love to hear any of your ideas as we go through, but it's a privilege and a pleasure to speak here. Thank you.